All right, everybody, welcome to the first episode of the Dark Asylum Podcast. Surprisingly, not a podcast about juggalos. I am your host, the one, the only wonderful Zach Winters. Joining with me are my partners in crime, partners in wrestling, and partners in life. First up, Darkness,
How's it going, everybody?
and then the man who inspired Howard the Duck, Big Vicious.
Quack, quack.
All right, so what we're doing here is kind of the basic idea is we are three professional wrestlers based in the Pacific Northwest, and with everything going on, with all the quarantining, all that fun stuff, we kind of want to just put out some positive content because everybody's down, everybody's sad that they're holed up at home, and unlike other wrestling podcasts, one, we're not going to talk about wrestling or very little about wrestling. Two, we're not going to be bitter and mad and whine about how we feel like we're not being used and should be used better, even though I definitely should be.
Jesus.
Yeah, but throw it in there.
Yeah, definitely.
God,
So
Show's
that's
over.
the real. Yeah, show's over. I had to get myself over.
we got one episode.
We're all
in.
fired from our own podcast. It's content.
So we all figure we get together, we talk about what we love, nerd culture, comics, movies, any kind of movies, really. How have you guys been doing through the quarantine?
I really haven't been leaving the house too much. Don't have anywhere to go. Don't have anything going on, really. So it's just been trying to keep myself occupied by consuming as much crap as I can as far as movies, music, books.
Mm-hmm.
I go to the grocery store once a week, and then that's about the extent of it.
It's the only time your wife lets you out, though.
Yeah. I got the ankle monitor on and make sure my phone doesn't leave a certain area. So she gets a text message. He's breached the perimeter. So,
He's at his side bitch's house.
SWAT team comes in. Ah!
Yeah, I can barely handle one, not alone multiple. So, yeah, but that's what I've been doing. Just consuming as much video games and, it's weird when, like, you got a job and everything and it takes you, like, 3 months to get through a video game versus now where 2 days and I'm done.
Yeah, you're just hammering through it like, God, what did I just play? I think I just played Dishonored, and it used to take me a few weeks, and then during quarantine and all this shit, I was just hammered right through it.
Yeah, I'm playing Far Cry 5.
That's a good one.
Dude. Yeah, I mean, they had it on discount. I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And that's some creepy-ass storyline for that game. It's pretty cool.
It's a cult.
Yeah, it's the whole cult. So.
I loved it.
I'd never played any of the other ones other than the Dragon one. That was like the retro future 80s one.
That one's good. 3. It's kind of like the Star Trek movies where you just play the odd ones.
Oh, okay.
Because the first one's good, the second one's trash, third one's good, fourth one's trash.
Wait, are we talking about we talking about the originals or the new ones?
Star Trek movies?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because Star Trek.
Full disclosure, I have felt the inside of a vagina, and I've never watched Star Trek.
All right, Star Trek 2 is a masterpiece, so fuck off.
Okay, yeah. I knew it was something like that, where like it's the even Star Trek movies that are the good ones, yeah.
Yeah. My favorite one's the Voyage Home, but it was a weird movie because like they got space dolphins or space whales or something like that.
No, they go back in time to the past and they have to save the whales because they're in the future or some shit.
That's right. I like that one because it took it out of its normal element and it was almost like a comedy. So I was like, all right.
That was right after they found Spock and he was like growing back into himself, so he wasn't humanized. So he's all sitting there in his fucking Vulcan robe on the bus and talking shit to people and like fucking Vulcan death gripping the fucking punk rocker with the radio.
I vaguely remember. It's been years, but yeah, I remember that one being good, and then the one with Khan being good. But I'm not a huge Trekkie, so
I like certain lore elements of it. Like some of
yeah.
the bad guys. The Borg I think are a really cool enemy.
I remember those episodes. It was like a big deal because Next Generation had the taking over of Jean-Luc Picard becoming a Borg and everything. That was like huge.
I like vaguely remember episodes of where like Q is like God and he wants to fuck Jean-Luc Picard or some shit like that.
I don't quite remember it that way, but all right.
Oh, I remember vividly one episode where they're just hardcore hammering each other. I could have been on edibles when I watched that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I like I said, I'm not a big Trek follower, so you could be right. I don't
know. What about you, V? What have you been up to?
Working my ass off.
Oh. Yeah, I hear you.
Or growing one. I don't know. All this running around, I still keep getting larger. But yeah.
That's all that muscle.
That's what we'll call it. Yeah.
It's all that muscle from wrestling down people stealing stuff.
But yeah, just been doing a lot of work and putting in a lot of hours, and in between, just trying to watch movies and play games. Man, I've been slumming on Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Which one's Odyssey? That's the Egyptian times.
No, Origin Egyptian. Odyssey is your Spartans.
Oh man,
gotcha.
This is where we're gonna have our first fight on the show, isn't it? So I used to be hardcore Assassin's Creed fan. Origins was okay. Odyssey straight up broke my heart because it was so fucking boring.
Dude, what are you talking about?
And I felt disgusted with myself because I spent $5 on one of those the supply packs or whatever to upgrade my gear. I just couldn't raid another fucking convoy.
No, what I like about them is you can follow the story, or you can just go off on your own and just like murder people. It's good entertainment. In between, I played through Star Wars, beat that.
Now we're getting into my realm where we're talking about our space wizards with laser swords.
Yeah, so I played through that and beat it, and now I'm just going through and like finishing everything, going through each planet, and completing it 100%. But sometimes with my schedule, it's games that I can actually put down and put to the side for a while and not have to like worry about like coming back and going, oh shit, what was I doing?
Yeah,
I still have to. I started Blair Witch, but I haven't even started like fully playing because it's like I have to pay attention and I don't have the time to like spend hours on it.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta get those games where you can pick them up and set them down real quick.
Well, and that's why I'm playing Odyssey right now. That's the same thing I did with Origins. I mean, hell, I still have tons to play on Origins. It's just sitting there to the side, and once I pick it up, I don't have to be like, oh, what was I doing? Oh shit, there we are.
I'd highly recommend Red Dead Redemption 2 or a newer one that I'm hammering through right now, Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay.
That one's getting good reviews.
Ghost of Tsushima is if Assassin's Creed Odyssey was good.
So I saw you, Zach, posted that you were going to start The Last of Us 2 like weeks ago. How did that go for you?
First of all, fuck anybody who shits on that game. That game is a fucking masterpiece. Everybody, I think I posted it on Facebook where I was just like, anybody who is mad about a female protagonist or a trans character in a game has never fully successfully pleasured a woman. So what? Oh my god. And now you're going to get me on The Last of Us 2. Tangent. That game is so fucking good. I'm not even going to go into D, did you play it?
No, I just finally got my kid a PlayStation 4, so okay. I've been running an Xbox, so I haven't had the opportunity to play anything like that.
Darkness, how about you?
No, I got the first one.
So now I got to avoid all the spoilers.
I already know it all, so.
Yeah. So, well, anybody listening who hasn't played it yet, the game's good. Go out there, pick it up. Don't fucking listen to those little whiny little nutbags who, Oh, it's just SJW propaganda. I don't want female characters.
By the way, something we should have done at the beginning of the show. Warning, spoiler alerts.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we'll say it before we do anything.
Well,
but
I'm not even gonna go into spoilers with this. This is just like me being mad about people like
Hey,
negative review bombing it, and then
saying, if something gets said, I don't want to start another riot.
That's another rule. No politics. We don't even
I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about
No,
Shane.
I know.
Shane Husky, man. You say something, that kid goes on a riot, man.
Start bringing up names. Jesus.
oh yeah, we'll edit it out. We'll call him 12 Bell. Anyway, these guys, everybody who's whining about the Abby character in the game, because if you've seen pictures of her, she's a woman, but she's fucking yoked. I mean, imagine the woman in the military group who works out all the time is going to be huge. But these are the same guys who jerk off to anime porn where the girls have like a size -5 waist and huge Z tits. but Abby's not realistic proportions. Fuck you.
Okay, but here's the thing. But it's the apocalypse. Where's she gonna get all that protein powder?
Dude, they got burritos. They got a full thing up there.
Do they?
Oh yeah, they got a full cafeteria. So I really like this part is that they have their little settlement inside like a football stadium.
Nice.
And then they're going out and they're eating from the earth. They're catching their own food. So it's all pure protein, pure animals, and they shows the gym they have in there.
Because you never hear about that part. Everyone just complains. There's no way that they could get that size. It's apocalypse. What are they doing all day? Just working out and eating, and everyone else has got to do everything else. So
yes, it makes a very valid point of when because half the game you take over for Abby, and at first I kind of hated that, but she kind of really grew on me as a character. It makes a very valid here's the gym. Look at the gym. You're walking past the gym. Look at all these people working out. All right, keep walking.
Yeah, because that was one of the complaints I heard, and I was like, it seems kind of valid. And then, not playing the game or not knowing any of that stuff.
Let's talk about fucking realism in a game with mushroom zombies, okay?
First one, that was, those things were a bitch to kill, but,
Yeah.
It was more of a sneak around them and get out of the way.
And now they're pretty easy to kill. They just got new, bigger, scarier ones.
Oh, yeah.
Gen 2.
What?
Gen 2. Generation 2.
Yeah.
Oh, Gen 2. That didn't even sound like your voice. I was like, what was
I thought
that?
you had
we
a
get
stroke.
some kind of warning?
No, I do not smell toast yet.
Oh, Jesus.
Which is amazing because I've seen the way you eat.
Well, you should see what I'm drinking right now.
I don't want to.
I gave up drinking.
Like drinking in general, or just drinking alcohol?
Drinking alcohol.
Oh, okay.
Why'd you do that, man?
Because you keep packing on the COVID weight. They could open the doors to one of these places that we wrestle, and I'm going to be, I'm not ready for this.
Yeah, I'm trying to get open backed up, so I'm trying to get down to 220.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't weighed myself, but I packed on some weight.
Oh, I did the COVID 15.
Yeah.
My fat ass was up to 245.
Damn.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
I just know I started prepping my meals, making it lighter stuff: chicken rice, chicken spinach,
boiled chicken and white rice. That's all I eat.
Well, I'm doing brown rice.
Brown rice is good.
Yeah.
All right, welcome to the Diet Corner podcast.
So on today's podcast, we're going to
talk about
keto, so it leaves me open to pretty much eating whatever falls within the guidelines,
except for bread.
Yeah, pretty much bread and sugar. Some sugar.
I'm 32 years old. I know what I should and shouldn't be eating. I mostly just stay away from sugar. Lots of protein. Yeah. I tried tracking my macros, but fuck that.
I'm 41 and I still don't know what I should and shouldn't eat.
God damn, you're old.
No, V, don't put that in your mouth.
Right? Walk down the street.
Grabbing random foliage.
Well, there's that time we walked down to that little corner store. V, pick up a handful of sand and eat it.
Fuck, you weren't supposed to tell anybody, Zach.
So what was your last match, Zach, before this thing started? Do you remember?
Good question. No.
I know. I was trying to think about that the other day because I know the last show BCW did, I wasn't booked. Then I got a message asking if I could show up, and I was like, "Yeah, unfortunately, I already rearranged my schedule, and I can't." That was back in January.
It wasn't that far
back, was it? It was about March.
It was like January or February. No, man.
I think it was me and Mac Traeger.
See, my last match was me and V against Mac and Lone Star for the #1 contendership to the tag titles, and we won.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's been 30 days. You could just give us the titles. What the hell?
I know. I'm gonna start promoting myself as the longest reigning No Limits champion.
That's right. You got the. Well, technically, we're all hardcore champion over a power pit too. So.
Oh yeah.
Longest reigning champions ever.
Oh yeah.
For that promotion. There you go.
No, I think Eric Hansen had the heavyweight title for 5 years, but that's just because he didn't run.
I know we're not supposed to be like wrestling talking too much, but have you been catching any of the stuff that's going on TV?
No. I don't know. I can't barely bring myself to watch it anymore.
I've been trying to stay away from it like I've been trying to stay away from COVID, man.
I watched the horror show Extreme Rules.
Yeah.
And that was the last thing I watched. I was just, okay, I'm done.
I peek in every now and then because I think Bray Wyatt's a fascinating character.
Yeah. But I can see some things like Matt Cadola or whatever over at AEW.
Yes, I don't know who that is.
Zack Ryder.
Oh, okay.
He signed a 5-show deal or something like that. So right now he's just there for like 5 shows.
Probably
that's the thing because WWE got rid of a ton of people, and now you're starting to see him show up everywhere else.
Well, you got Heath Slater over at TNA.
Yeah, and then they brought in the
or Impact.
Impact, yeah. It's just weird. They just fired half the roster, and now they're like making their way over to other places. Yeah, that horror show thing it was funny because people that don't even watch wrestling are talking about it and coming to me like, "Oh, did you see what happened to Rey Mysterio?" I was like, "Yeah, that's disgusting." I was like,
"Because his fucking eye popped out. It was not a real eye."
Yeah, you do realize that it's it was on the news and everything. I was like, "Oh my god, this is okay." Well, in this day and age, they can still get people to mark out.
I've seen B horror movies with better eye popping out graphics than that.
Yeah, like it was in the Evil Dead where that eyeball was flying, and you can see the wire on it, and that girl swallows it.
Shit, did you ever, I watched Samurai Cop last night, and this dude gets his arm cut off, and that was thing that Rey Mysterio's eye being popped out.
It's funny because the stipulation for that match reminded me of when I was trading tapes as a kid and the crazy stuff you'd find in independent wrestling and Japanese wrestling.
Oh yeah.
Okay, you got a spider net death match. You got a loser gets AIDS match. Come on, what is this? Loser gets their eyeball popped out. It's like, okay.
They're gonna watch this ring blow up with C4. Somebody might die.
Yeah. They've had a couple good matches like that were exploding ring, whatever. Yeah, it's just a crazy gimmick.
My favorite one was again being that wrestling snob, Cactus Jack versus Terry Funk, where Cactus Jack books it out of the ring, and then the timer goes off and little like sparklers happen, and Terry Funk just stands in the middle of the ring, shrugs, and leaves.
Yeah, the bombs didn't go off. That was the King of the Deathmatch turn.
Yes. They don't talk about that part much.
That was my first foray into Japanese deathmatch wrestling. And when those guys in the beginning took those bumps in the thumbtacks, it blew my mind. I was just like, whoa.
I don't remember
experience with it.
I don't remember what the match was, but my first foray into Japanese old school Japanese deathmatch, I watched a guy get gutted with his sickle.
Yes, I remember that.
It was horrifying to watch when I was young, but then I was like, that blood's washing off him pretty fast. Dude heals like fucking Wolverine.
He's up and ready to go. Yeah, they used to have crazy stuff like those giant balloons filled with those big old carpet tacks.
Oh,
Hopped over the ring, and then they had it was a scaffold match, and then they would fall into a net made out of barbed wire.
They had that box that you stick your hand into, and one of them has hepatitis C hypodermic needles on it.
That was a weird indie promotion back in the day. That was called California Creative Wrestling. I remember that. It's some crazy stuff. Yeah, it's funny to see that kind of stuff coming around, and then to see WWE doing it. It's just okay. Loser gets their eye popped out. Says good shit. What the hell?
They're trying to take the popularity of the Boneyard match and the John Cena Bray Wyatt match. They're trying to take the
match.
They're trying to take the popularity of those and now start doing more cinematic matches. And it's like, dude, okay, it's cool doing it for the first time. That was kind of cool to watch. It was like, okay, but then if you keep trying to do it,
it's like every
like they're trying to make the Fiend into this horror movie monster. And it works, but you're kind of just overdoing it with the cinematic matches.
Oh yeah.
Every show's got one. The Boneyard match was good. I liked it because
I liked it a lot.
They kind of masked Undertaker's, lack of ability due to his age at this point in his career.
Yeah.
And then the ladder match at the Money in the Bank was actually kind of interesting because they're going through WWE headquarters and all these different rooms and everything. But now it's like the swamp match, and now they're talking about doing SummerSlam at the beach or on a ship or something. I'm just like, okay, I don't know.
Didn't Jericho do that?
Oh, yeah, the wrestle vessel. Oh, no, it wasn't his. The wrestle vessel wasn't his. But, yeah, he did the wrestling on the ship.
Yeah.
The Bruise Cruise and the wrestle vest. I remember all that stuff.
The dumbest shit I've ever heard.
I was a kid, man. I was like, Mom, I want to go on a cruise. And she's like, what? All the wrestlers are going to be there. It's like, no, we're not.
It's like, no. But yeah.
The Bruise Cruise is my favorite Ron Jeremy movie, by the way. Anyway, enough about wrestling.
We've already said nobody's watched the Umbrella Academy 2 yet, except for me.
No. I watched the first 2 episodes.
I didn't watch it, but I punched myself in the dick really hard, so I feel like I've watched it.
Oh, we have a non-fan in the house.
It's okay.
The Boys is much better.
I fucking love The Boys.
Did you read those before you watched the show?
No, I watched the show, then read the books, and I was even more excited when I found out there were Garth Ennis books.
Yes, I read those years ago. And it was probably my favorite limited run series.
Yeah.
And that and Transmetropolitan, if you ever read that one.
No.
But
I just Garth Ennis, like I love his way of doing things because it's always going to be an Irish person talking about the Troubles. It's always going to be some domestic terrorist thing, and a lot of it's really just like dirty. Like Preacher was kind of dirty and violent.
Oh, yeah. His run on the Punisher is probably the best one that they've ever had. The Garth Ennis Punisher run was just with Ma Nucci and all that. Oh my God! And he got to sneak in some pretty disturbing stories through a Marvel title.
Especially during the time when it came out, and he just like, oh yeah, we're just gonna bomb a New York diner.
Yeah,
in one of the issues.
Yeah. It's just, and then the one with the trafficking, and he was getting into some dark stuff there, and the superheroes in the Marvel universe weren't grasping that kind of. They're fighting villains and stuff.
That was always kind of like the allure of the Punisher. He's very. I mean, right now they're doing the Cosmic Ghost Rider storyline. But for a while, he was very much street level and, take down the human traffickers and all this other shit. And that human trafficking storyline, that one stuck with me for a while.
Yeah. I mean, it was dark. It was so uncharacteristic of what you would think Marvel Comics would be for kids and all this stuff. It got deep and dark in there, and it was a really good run. And it is, like you say, it sticks with you. Yeah, I'm
pretty sure I still have it around here, actually.
Yeah, that was one of the best runs. And then I also liked More recent was when he got the War Machine armor. That was crazy.
Yes,
that was another good.
That was good.
Another good series there.
Have you been following the Cosmic Ghost Rider story?
No, unfortunately, I know that it's Frank, but that's about the extent of it. I have it on my read list.
It's Frank with the abilities of Ghost Rider, the Cosmic Ghost Rider, and now he's just going through and fucking everybody up.
So he's driving around on a motorcycle like Lobo in space. He's like, that's awesome. I need to get to it. Right now I'm reading Batman Metals.
Yeah, I haven't read it yet. I just got Batman Who Laughs.
Yeah, that's been taking up the DC titles for a while now, so I figured it was time to get into it.
See, I've been reading that, and then Marvel's been doing a killer run with Darth Vader.
Oh, really? Are those Star Wars comics from Marvel any good? I've got some of them, but I haven't gotten into them yet.
The ones I could say for 100% certain are good are the Darth Vader comics and Dr. Aphra.
Yeah, I haven't gotten too much into those. Figure it's Marvel and Disney and all that. Hey, B, welcome back.
I'm back. My phone died.
I thought you charged it.
It was on charge, but it wasn't fully charged. And then I thought my portable battery was plugged in, and it wasn't.
So, damn it, we're supposed to be professionals.
So we're supposed to. That's what happens when you run on that fucking Nokia phone.
We played Snake too long, and it drained the battery.
No. But we're talking about comics. You been reading anything?
I read up to Deceased. I was doing the Blackest Night.
Ooh, the only good Green Lantern storyline, by the way.
You didn't like Emerald Twilight?
That's all right.
Phalanx?
Phallus?
No, yeah. See, Phalanx. I don't know how to put. That one was pretty good too.
That one I never read.
Yeah,
mainly because I know Bad Blood might listen to this, and I love talking shit to the Green Lantern about him.
Right.
I don't know too much about Green Lantern.
Speaking of comics, quite a while back, Zach got a treasure trove of Star Wars comics at a very good price.
Yeah.
So was there anything good out of that?
There's a couple of good ones. Like if I sell a few of those, I can make my money back. One that was really good. It's I gotta go send it off to get slabbed up, but
yeah.
Oh man, getting into the slabbing. Ugh, I got two slab comics. That's it. So I thought that was going to be worth something.
I should invite you to these Darkness because I've been hitting up comic book auctions. And I've gotten some really good slabs out of it.
I should invite you to these Darkness. Hey, there's a third person here.
Well, V, I know like money's tight with you. You live on a park bench. You got to charge you're probably charging your phone at the Mac station right now.
No, it's outside of the mini mart.
Where I'm digging cigarette butts out of the ashtray.
No, I'm picking them up off the ground. It's disgusting pulling them out of the ashtray. You know how many germs are in those ashtrays?
It's disgusting. We're in the middle of a pandemic. I can't be smoking butts out of the ashtray. I mean, I'll invite you, but yeah.
Yeah. Don't.
Yeah. I got a good Spawn 301 slabbed up.
Yeah, that was crazy when that happened because I think that's the first comic in 20, 30 years, independent comic.
Yeah,
that has made it to 300.
And then so the last auction I did, one of the Spider-Mans, I can't remember what it was, signed by Todd McFarlane, Stan Lee, Rob Liefeld, and somebody else I can't remember.
Oh, jeez.
Went for like $2K or $25K.
Ugh.
Not $25K, $2,500. Sorry. It's one of those prices.
Yeah. There's a 2 and a 5 somewhere in there.
Yep.
The zeros afterward, that's up to you to figure out.
And then here I am, like, oh yeah, I got a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for $50.
You know, it's funny. Ninja Turtles, like when I first got into comics, Ninja Turtles was my comic, and I got because I was a kid, so I got those Archie comics, and while they were being produced, because they were basically a spinoff of the cartoon show. And I had gotten my hands on one of the actual originals from Eastman and Laird. And it was like so brutally over what I was used to as a kid. What is this?
My first realm into Ninja Turtles, like in comic form, was out of the Sunday Funnies, out of the Sunday newspaper.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know they came out on the Sunday paper.
Oh yeah, dude. I would steal that motherfucker out of the newspaper. If my parents didn't get the paper, I'd go find somebody else's, stole it just for the Ninja Turtles, and I would be pissed because it got to this point where it was like the section of the news, the section of the comics was Ninja Turtles one week, and then it'd be something the next, and I'm like, no, what the fuck? You can't leave me hanging.
What's my Ninja Turtles?
You can't leave me hanging. But they would do. They had sections like how to draw a Ninja Turtle, like so it'd be like the little comic, and it would be a little portion each week, and then they'd have on the side like a little like Ninja Turtle game or like how to draw Michelangelo, how to draw Leonardo, which as an adult I realized they're the same fucking thing, just color. As a kid, I was like, oh, when they're going to teach me how to draw Leonardo? Come on. It's like, you know, but yeah.
I mean, it's not like you can just draw the other ones and paint that one blue.
Right. You know, but yeah, that was my first introduction to the Ninja Turtle comics. I didn't realize that they actually had comic books out when I was a kid.
Yeah, kind of how I was, because as a kid, loved the show, had the toys, had all that shit. And then probably into my adult life, I was like, oh, there's this early 20s probably. There's this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comics. I'm going to start at issue 1. Oh, they just disemboweled Shredder.
Yeah, that's the thing too. When you go back into the lore, Shredder was there, the first issue? That was it?
Yeah.
2 issues?
I think that was it.
Yeah, it was crazy. And it was funny because when I was that age, it was the whole comic books are bad, and so my mom would grab whatever books I wanted, and she'd have to go through them, and like she grabbed the issues of the X-Men when they did the reboot, and she's going through them, says this is called X-Men, this has got to be bad, because X-rated X-Men. She'd go through it, everything was fine. She didn't even bother with those Ninja Turtle comics that I got, because she figured, it's like the stupid cartoon show. Yeah, and I'm sitting there reading stuff that's just... And then I take it to school and I show the other kids, and it was just insane, because it was way far removed from what everyone was used to with the cartoon.
What was it like growing up on a Puritan commune?
I wouldn't know. No, it was funny, because my mom and parents... They were pretty lenient after a certain point, but certain things would kind of, my dad was really into D&D, and my mom was not having any of it. She was like, my dad wanted to teach me, and she's like, no.
Oh, please tell me she thought it was the devil's toy.
No, it's nothing like. She was actually really cool about stuff like that, like she had just remembered the whole satanic panic thing in the 80s, and, like kids committing suicide because their characters would die or something. So she's like, no, why don't you bypass this one?
What was that? It was like called Darkest Dungeon or some shit, where the guy would like make the little comic books, the little religious comic books. And I think Darkest Dungeon was the one that was talking about the evils of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, that whole thing. I think she was really, pretty open about what I was watching, like horror movies and stuff, and when I was 10. But certain things she would still, I'm not sure about this.
So, okay, hold on. Off subject. So at like 10, 8, 9, whatever, as a kid, I don't know how it was for you guys, but I was able to watch like all these horror movies and shit. But I wasn't allowed to watch like Fast Time at Ridgemont High or like those like fucking comedies, because there's too much nudity and drug use. But I could watch a horror movie that had nudity.
Because watching somebody get disemboweled is quality entertainment. You're not watching that smut where they might show half a boob. Are you out of your mind? We don't want to corrupt you. Go ahead and watch Chucky, where this lady gets a hammer thrown through her fucking eyeball.
We had a disc scrambler box back in the day, so I got all the pay channels. That's how I got my fix for
the pornography.
Oh, lucky you! I had to change the color and the contrast of my porn. I was like,
because you grew up in.
I think I see a. I think I see a booby. That's an nipple. Look. Yeah.
God damn, you guys are old.
Oh jeez, listen to you.
Like, I was born.
By the time I knew what porn was, we had a satellite TV, and I was ordering the channels, and then my grandma would be like, why is Butt Fuck Sluts Go Nuts Volume 5 on the bill? And I'd be like, oh, I don't know. That's a fucking mystery.
Oh, you were accidentally purchasing stuff.
He's like,
We
I
took
don't
whatever
know.
we could
That's
get.
a mystery as he's walking his fucking pile of socks out to the laundry.
It's a big crunchy pile.
You can't drop it because it sounds like plates breaking.
God damn it, Zach. Why can't I pull these socks apart? Oh, jeez.
We were the pre-internet generation. So, yeah, we had to get our fix through alternative means, I guess.
I was I was in the younger thing, so like we'd always, and I know you two go through this too. There's always like a spot in the woods where you find like your pile of porn.
That's accurate. I can't believe it wasn't a forest for me because I was in the deserts of California. But
Well, yeah.
it was like this friend of mine. He had a foxhole that was filled with porn magazines out in the middle of the desert. I was like, what is
You know what?
this?
I just realized young males in our generation were like prisoners. We'd be gutting out our fucking bed mattress and shoving the magazine up in the fucking kitchen.
Oh yeah.
So,
You're lucky your mom didn't come in and flip your bunk on you or something.
right. It's like, hey, why's your bed so lumpy? I don't know. Maybe I stole Dad's 36th issue of Hustler. I don't know.
So mine was in the wall actually.
In the wall.
Yeah. So my room had like one of the water heaters, and I put my bed frame right against it. So like I could just unscrew the panel, the wall paneling, and put porn in it.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, hidey hole in the wall.
Oh
of
yeah,
your room.
you had to be creative. I grew up with my grandma. She was a fucking correction guard, so I had to get creative.
So you did have it where she'd come in and flip your bunk on you.
She'd flip the bunk. She'd pull out drawers, empty them, pull out a switchblade, gut my pillows.
Like feathers flying around your room. Clean this up. I'll be back in 30 minutes.
Slapping on the gloves. Where's the contraband?
Where's the marijuana pills?
Surprise inspection. I didn't have it that bad at all. I'm grateful for that. My parents did get a little concerned for me when I was in high school, and they kept getting videotapes in the mail. What is this? What
Video.
is this?
It's wrestling, I promise.
Well, most of it was, but you know.
Now, you see, when I was growing up, my stepdad, he would like go to the fucking porn shop, print videos, bring them home, and record them. So he had the dual VCR set up. You know, back in the day. Well, not used.
Oh,
Not used.
your uncle was a scumbag. I said, "Oh, your uncle was a scumbag."
No, my stepdad. Like, yeah.
Your stepdad was a scumbag.
So he would.
I just assumed it was uncle.
He had. Yeah, he would have the dual VCRs set up. He'd put the one tape in,
Jesus.
hit record on the other, and so me and my friend, we would like sneak in and peek around the corner while he's recording these because the TV would be on
And just crank off.
nah. But what?
Nah.
Nah.
That's the most unconvincing retort I've
All right, so coming off of V's birthday
We
topic,
hold each other's hands.
we're gonna
No.
have a little segment on the show now, just
Correct
called
each other.
"How did
Couple of
Big
Dutch
V
rudders
almost
going on.
die this week?"
Hey, that's cool, man.
Big
We
V
all had
works
our
as,
experimental
loss
phases.
prevention for
But yeah,
a
that
certain
was
company, and
fucking
has
crazy.
many encounters
Mine just
where
wasn't
he almost dies,
Scooby
or
doing around
usually,
the corner,
you might have a
jerking
heart
my
attack
friend
every
off.
now and then.
every now and then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
every now and then.
Fuck
Uh,
off.
Or
I
a
missed you
stroke.
guys
I
for a
smell
while
toast
now. I'm
burning
like
all the time.
this week's episode.
Last time I talked to the
How did
Volkies,
V
it
almost
was
die?
V's birthday, and he was
Monday,
already kinda out of
yesterday.
it.
He was hammered.
How did this
Hey,
dude
we
come
gotta
in?
we gotta do this
dirty
shit
as
every
fuck.
week. We gotta stay committed.
I know, right?
Sunglasses out the door.
So it's
So I'm
time for you
following
to
him.
get sick of us
Yeah.
all over again.
I'm like, hey, bro, just give the glasses back. Let's go.
Yeah, I was pretty
So we
gone
round
by the
this
time I got
corner,
home. You guys.
and as we're around the corner, nobody's
Yeah,
around.
I know.
So I'm like,
Yeah,
all
we
right, I'm
could
going to
tell.
talk a little shit to this dude. I'm like,
Yeah,
yo, bro,
So
your mother should have
for
had
the
an abortion
listeners,
and then
because
shot
we are
herself.
recording an
So that way
audio
we didn't have to
podcast.
deal with shitbags like you.
We
This dude pulls out a
Big V's
pure
birthday
garden
was-
shears
what
out
was
of
it, a
his
couple months
fucking
ago?
backpack.
April
And starts coming
27th.
towards me. I pull
April
out my
27th,
pull out my
and
knife.
I
I'm
get
like, bam! I'm like, let's go, bro.
the FaceTime
And this
call
dude's
from
sitting
him.
on the side of the
And
building
he's usually
smoking a cigarette.
drunk or
Like,
horny
what
whenever he
the fuck
FaceTimes
is
me.
going on?
Whatever.
Or both.
And this time he had to be happened
As
to be
soon as the
both.
dude hears,
And just
yeah,
I
I have a
open
guy
up
with
and
a pair
there he
of
is
garden
in just
shears
like
and
his
another dude
big
with a
nude
knife ready to
body,
fucking kill each
just
other.
taking up my
The
phone
dude
screen.
takes off running. I was like, "You going to run, motherfucker?"
So I
What?
decided I'm not going to be
And
the only
the
one to
guy's like,
breeze through this.
the other
this
dude's looking
ginger
at me while he's
giant
on the phone with 911. I'm like,
big
maybe I
old
shouldn't be yelling
balls
shit like
on my
that.
phone
Oh
screen.
well.
So we call darkness. Did you just whip the knife at him? We ended up just drinking whiskey with him.
No, dude, I pulled my knife out. I'm like, bam. I'm like, let's go, motherfucker.
He's out on his porch.
I'm like, come at me.
My favorite story you ever told is when you got that complaint letter from your neighbors.
This is the third time now. We can't
No, this is against the law. I am the law.
No, the letter was on the door. No, let's see. We told you no animals allowed. Last week, first thing in the morning, this dude comes in, grabs a couple items, dips down an aisle that has a bunch of shit in the way.
Were real.
Thinks he's smart, tries to stuff it. I'm watching him from the other aisle, and I'm like, okay, the dude's going to go up front. I'll catch him from behind. So I ducked in this little cubby, and no, he's going out the emergency exit. I'm like, fuck this. He's probably a runner. So I did the fucking water boy. I was like, bam, hit him up against one wall, throw him against the other. The fucking one drops out from between his shirt. And he's like, oh my God. I'm like, give me the other fucking item now. And he's like, don't hurt me. Pulls the other one out of his pants, throws it down. And I'm like, hurt you, I will fuck you up. And he starts walking towards the front of the store and holding his shirt up while his hands are in the air going, don't hurt me. He's walking out the door, and one of the associates like, sir, have a nice, and I stopped because they saw me right behind. I'm like, keep walking. March, motherfucker, march. He gets outside and he's like, you're aggressive. I'm like, you don't know how fucking aggressive I am. I ripped his hat off and started slicing it. And I threw it down on the ground. I'm like, now pick it up, motherfucker. And he took off.
Jesus. So, did you ever take anybody into the back room and go all casino on them? Just wail on their hands with a hammer?
No, you get people. You get people in the back, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't mean to do it." I'm like, "What the fuck do you mean you didn't mean to do it? You picked it up, you shoved it down your fucking pants. Oh, I'm sorry. No, you're not sorry. This is like the third time."
V's got a stack of phone books in his office when nobody uses phone books anymore, and everyone wonders why.
He just wails on him. Whap! Are you going to steal again?
He's got a sack full of oranges at him in this office.
Just spinning them like a mace. No, I totally love the visual because for people listening who don't know, the reason we call him Big V is because what are you 6'6", 6'7"?
6'5", 6'6".
Pushing little over 300 pounds. And just the thought of you running in general is hilarious, but just like hitting somebody with a refrigerator, just seeing this poor motherfucker whap.
Oh, speaking of running, all right. So this was last week. I don't remember what day. So this dude comes in, and what was he taking? Magnets. So he grabs. I'm on the phone with my partner, and we're like, okay, dude, you got some magnets. He's walking towards this way. All right. He's dipping down this aisle. He just stuffed them between his bag, turns the corner. He's getting ready to go out one exit. And I'm like, shit. I'm like, whatever. So as he walks past me, he spots me, and I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. As he walks past me, I'm like, yeah, they're waiting outside. They'll get our magnets back. He pulls them out from his back, hands them to me, and says, you're a fucking joke. So I grab him from him. I throw him to the side. As we walk out the door, he's like, you can't follow me. I didn't take anything. I'm like, fucker, I'm following you right now. I'm staring him dead in his face, and we're walking. He's like, you're a piece of shit. I'm like, well, yeah, your mother should have swallowed. And he's like, what's that supposed to mean? I'm like, that means your ass wouldn't be here, bitch. And we're walking, and we get up towards one area, and I'm like, you keep talking, dude. Once we're out camera, dude, I'll fuck you up. And he's like, oh, you ain't going to do shit. I'm like, all right, bro, let's see. And he goes, have you ever been to fat camp? I'm like, have you ever been to fucking rehab? He's like, yeah, quite a few times. I'm like, great. Not only do we have a piece of shit, but we have a failure on our hands. And we get right past the point where I knew cameras were, and I'm like, oh yeah, boy, we passed the camera. You want to see what fat camp taught me? And I take off running towards him. That motherfucker's eyes got the size of fucking softballs. He takes off running. We hit that corner, and I just get this whiff of shit. And I'm like, oh no. I stop, and I'm just cracking up. And my partner's like, what the hell is going on? I'm like, I think this dude just shit his pants. He runs across me. And when he sees I'm not running after him, he starts fucking bow-legged walking around the corner. And I'm like, yeah, the dude shit his pants.
I'd say just let him go. He's had a hard day.
I'm like, this motherfucker just shit his pants. I'm like, because granted, yeah, I can't run far for a long time. But oh shit, momentum gets me going. I'll get you.
It's like a fucking juggernaut. Once you get his ass going, you ain't stopping him.
Oh yeah, there was like 2 hours of that afterwards. But you know what? Hey, motherfucker shit his pants.
I ran 30 feet. I need a cigarette.
It was like a foot and a half, but you know, hey, whatever.
That's insane, because I used to do the same kind of work, and I never did anything like that.
Or fuck, a couple months ago,
I'm a bartender. I don't deal with this shit.
A couple months ago, where we just get done like getting this guy out. He's trying to pass off fake cash and shit, and we get him out. We're talking shit as he goes through his vehicle. He starts talking shit to us, and we're flapping back. He gets in his car, and he starts doing circles through our parking lot. So we're off to the side watching, and I light up a cigarette, and I'm on the sidewalk, and we see him go over to the far end. This other dude comes booking out of the store, and the cashier's like, he didn't pay. And then all of a sudden, he goes running right, like, as soon as he got right in front of me, I just fucking, once again, water boy, boom, right through this bush. This dude's fucking legs are up in the air, face is in the concrete. My hand is palming his face. He starts trying to hit me. He gets a couple good looks in. I wrap his other arm, and my partner's like, just give us the stuff. He's like, just give us the stuff. I'm like, bro, he can't. He's like, I'm going to have to cut it off you. So he cuts our product off him. And I'm like, motherfucker, you just ruined our product. So he's like, oh, let me up. So I back off. Dude gets up. Fucking blood's pouring out of his fucking right side of his face. And he goes to beef up, and my partner's like, is that a wise decision? He looks around, and my partner's like my size. Like, we're like just two huge guys. And he's like, ugh. And he takes off fucking limping down the sidewalk, like trying to power walk. But it looked like a fucking car with only one wheel. It's all, and I was just like, holy shit. And all these people are walking up like going, dude, that dude went like 5 feet in the air when you tackled him. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, I need to see this shit once.
Live in person.
Oh my God.
So does this happen like every day, or you get a couple a week, or?
In a week, there's probably like a good handful. I mean, some weeks are really slow. It just depends. It's when this whole pandemic thing started, it was crazy. Like, we thought the shit would like slow down, but it actually picked up. Like, people would stand in line to get into the building for like an hour. Yeah, it was like, are you serious, man?
Yeah, no, fuck that.
So that this has been, how did V almost get murdered this week? This is going to be one of our first reoccurring segments of the show.
Oh yeah.
He's got a million stories, at least one a week. I'm sure you're gonna have something.
Oh yeah.
More than likely, man.
The one time I got stabbed.
Jeez.
Tell them about how you lost your finger.
We could go on. I've only been doing this thing for a year, and I could go on for like 6 hours.
Yeah, but we got a weekly show with time to kill, so we gotta save it.
Save it, buddy. You're okay. You don't want to.
We should be doing shit. He's going to be doing shit now just to be like, oh, this will sound great on the show. Whack!
I'm like, shit, I don't have nothing this week. Okay, this motherfucker looks like I can tackle him. Does he have anything? Not really.
Just slamming into random folk off the street.
That, flip a knife into him.
Putting things in their pockets. Hey, what's this?
Is that your crackhead voice?
Well, that's the noise you make when V slams into you.
Yes, I know that.
Yeah, I mean, it's happened to me a couple of times. That was the noise I made. So.
Yeah, and he likes us.
Yeah, that's the thing. He goes easy on us for the most part.
Until he gets me up to that big ass pump handle slam.
Yeah.
Fucking...
Dude, if I give 100% to the people I like, just imagine what I give to the people I don't like.
I remember that hardcore match. The four of us were all in. You pump handled me into the thumbtacks just on a whim. Oh, why? Why are you? Yeah.
Why do you hate?
What did I do? Oh. Yeah.
Because Zach won't do it. It makes me mad, so I'm going to take it out on you.
It's funny because, like, now when I'm in the ring with him, if I'm not his opponent, like, if he's had a bad day at work, I know these guys are going to get annihilated. It's like, I was like, I hope nobody pissed him off at work this week.
Oh, no, I do. That makes for the most entertaining matches.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at work,
Yeah, me and Darkness will be in the car, and I'll be bitching, and he's like, oh, fuck.
So this guy.
I'm going to have to babysit. I want to have to babysit.
I'm like, who's your opponent tonight? All right, they can take it. Forget it. It's fine. Jeez. So what other we got comics, we got some movies. What else we got?
All right, so
What?
Before I got like kicked the last time, I don't know what happened, but we were talking about the Umbrella Academy. You guys haven't caught up on that yet, but I was speaking with Darkness a little bit. I just got done watching the first season of Carnival Row with Orlando Bloom. I can't think of her name. The girl who was the Enchantress on Suicide Squad.
Margot Robbie?
No, the Enchantress.
Because she was the only person in that movie.
She's still the one I paid attention to.
But no, it was a really good show. It was set in your kind of like Jack the Ripper era, where humans were living with fantasy characters, fairies and pucks, and Orlando Bloom is this cop who basically at the beginning of the show he's just kind of like investigating the harsh crimes on all these like fictional characters, these fantasy characters, and the story is really deep and really good. It got turned on to me by a friend at work. He was like, we were talking about shows, and he brought up The Boys and Umbrella Academy, and he told me about Carnival Row, and I was like, haven't seen it yet, but it sounds really good. So I turned it on, fucking binged it in like 2.5 days.
Damn, how many episodes is it?
10 to 12, I can't remember exactly.
Is it an hour or 45 minutes or something? Wow.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I can't binge a show in 2 days.
I remember.
I get bored with it.
The only show that I could see that I could have binged didn't allow me to. So it was like I got into The Mandalorian, and then you had to wait the next week, and then you had to wait the next week. I hated that because Disney won't drop everything at once. They'll like make you wait for it.
They tease you. They show you half the nip, and they're like, "No, you gotta wait till next week to get more." And then they just blue ball you until you want more.
I'm very mixed on that because it's like I like the fact that like Netflix and some shows and some streaming services will like drop the whole season and you can binge it, but then at the same time it's like now I have nothing like. It's leaving me wanting more, and I have nothing to watch. But then you have stuff like Disney that gives you The Mandalorian. It's like, cool, I want to see it right now, but now the anticipation and the excitement of waiting. That's one of the things I miss from like the old school series. Thursday night was your show. You watched it, and you're like, fuck, I have to wait till next Thursday. And you're like just talking about it and talking to your friends about it. Like, oh, hey, Jack did this, Jack did that. And now you have to wait. But now it's like, oh, hey, man, I'm watching this show and blah, 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 blah happened. And so is like, oh, hey, I haven't got to that episode yet.
Yeah.
When people binge, you got all this stuff and you worry about no spoilers, don't talk about it. I haven't seen it yet. So, I mean, I'm mixed on it because it's like I want it right now, but I like that excitement and being able to talk about it right away instead of being like, oh, you're not caught up yet? Okay.
Yeah, it's weird because like when my sister got me into Buffy the Vampire Slayer when it was still on TV.
Right.
And that was one of those shows where like, all right, what's the next one? What's the next? And it was almost like you would dwell on it longer per episode, whereas now it's like you're watching it and you almost forget what happens in certain episodes because you get it all at once.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't have that time to process it. But on the other hand, back when you're watching TV and you were kind of a slave to when the time was, it was weird because there wasn't as much to watch. But now you got like 10 different streaming services, all with their own original content, all dropping at months apart. So you're almost inundated with too much to watch. So it seems like stuff's more disposable now because you can just get through it real quick and go on to the next thing, versus back when, before streaming was a thing, where you would sit there and dwell on each episode. Like you say, you would talk about it. Everyone would be caught up because they were watching it at the same time. And then you go back and, now, like you're saying, you almost had to watch The Mandalorian when it came out because there'd be memes, there'd be spoilers, there'd be everything else going on the internet, and you couldn't avoid it. I mean, The Walking Dead was like that.
Right.
That was the last show that I remember where you had to watch it when AMC put it up, because if you didn't, someone would die or something like that, and you'd be out of the loop. But now it's, like you say, there's so many of those streaming sites, and it's just they drop it all at once, and you just consume it in one fell swoop, and you really don't have anything else to do with it afterward. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, it has its benefits and it has its negatives, because it's like the benefit is, back in the day, you literally Thursday nights at 8:00, you had to watch it or you missed out. You didn't have the internet or stuff like that where you go back on and catch the episode. You didn't have these websites like the CW has the CW app. So if you didn't catch it that night, you can catch it at 10:00 on the app. So it's like you had to watch it then or you missed out. And you missed out until they did a rerun. And they usually didn't do a rerun until the next season was already running. So now, I mean, you can watch it at your convenience, at your time. But once you do that, you start it and you don't stop.
It's so weird because, like, if you have a short attention span or life happens or something like that, you fall behind now. It's so weird.
Oh yeah, I kind of miss those days where it's just like, oh yeah, we got to hunker around the TV at 7:00 on Thursday nights. Otherwise, we got to catch a show. And I think Game of Thrones was kind of like the last real show to do that.
Yeah, I remember that.
The one big communal experience for everybody.
Yeah,
right.
And everyone would, like, just as soon as the show ended, it was like everyone
on
jumps
TV.
online and talks about it and everything else.
Whining about it.
Yeah, in the later days, yeah, I bet.
It wasn't that bad.
All right, so worst, spoilers for anyone listening, but worst finale of a TV show ever. What do you say?
Actually, I'm not even going to go, like, I thought Game of Thrones was fine. I think probably Roseanne.
Well, that one's still going technically.
Well, technically,
No.
yes, but when they first, or when they they did the original ending, and you found out.
You stole mine. Yes.
Yes.
So
when you found out Dan had died.
He had died the season before at the wedding. That he had the heart attack. That's right. Yeah.
And it was all her memoirs.
Yeah, she had written the
Sorry.
whole season as a book. That's when they won the lottery and everything else, right?
Yep.
That was a pretty crap kind of ending because it was like that last season was weird, and then that was just the way they kind of explained why it was so weird. Yeah, that one was pretty weak. I remember Dexter being a terrible ending.
Dexter was awful too, yes.
That was just...
Well, I remember I kind of fell off the show after his girlfriend died, and just not really digging it anymore. Once you had like the ultimate nut of John Lithgow as the Trinity killer.
Yes.
And then after that, it all just seemed kind of bleh.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there was some good parts, but overall, it pretty much dropped after the Trinity.
Yeah.
Especially when his sister found out, it was just like, okay, this is getting stupid now.
that's the thing. Okay, everything is like upped itself as the years gone by, and things have gotten better. But that's one thing I miss about like the old days when there was a TV show when they were canceling it. They at least gave it that one last season to finish it off, whether it was a terrible ending or not. They gave the show an opportunity to finish it. Nowadays, it's just like, oh, this show sucks. We're canceling it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have no ending. So I
Yeah.
mean, they did that to Heroes twice.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Well,
Okay.
Heroes was garbage.
No, I loved the first season or the first version of Heroes.
Well, you would because you're a dirty little trash boy.
Heroes Reborn wasn't that bad, but it was like, okay, whatever. But once again, it was just like, boom. There was like, I think the reason why Heroes Reborn was such garbage was because they tried to pick up and continue on where Heroes left off, but make it further on in this, like later on in time. You have shows like Under the Dome. Under the Dome was a good show, and they just ended it.
Yeah, like they during the mid-season or during the off-season for a show, they sit around and the number crunchers sit around and they're like, "Is this worth bringing back?" And then they come to a decision, and it's already done. Like they're not giving them another season or anything like that. It's just done. So yeah. And
so you
there
have
was a lot less shows too. Like they got whatever they had in a time slot was pretty much cemented in a time slot for a while. Like it took them a while to get another show in its place. But now it's like everything's so disposable. It's crazy.
Yeah, we're definitely like nowadays definitely take our entertainment more for granted.
There's always another show. There's always another something.
Not only that, you have like a billion channels, so it's like every channel has a show and multiple shows for different time slots. So it's like, oh my god,
we have so many shows now because like I don't have cable anymore. I have HBO Max, Disney Plus, Netflix, Hulu, Funimation.
But yes, I don't have that one. I got all the other ones, but yeah, it's just like, and each one's trying to produce its own content and as much of it as they can because they're not getting things from other companies now because every company's got its own streaming service.
Yeah.
What did the Peacock, the NBC has got their own streaming now.
Yeah,
and then they had CBS, which like the only reason to get it was from the Picard show, and then that tanked, and it's like all these streaming services are just all over the place.
Pretty soon it's all going to be Disney.
I don't know, man. Disney's not doing too hot right now.
No,
they're hemorrhaging money because they got no amusement parks open.
Oh, that's right.
So that was what paid for everything else.
Oh man, and where else am I going to pay $10,000 to take my family for a day trip?
Yeah, I love Disney, but good God, now would be the time to go because technically they're open. You got to wear a mask, but there's nobody there. There's all these like YouTube videos of people going right now, and they're like the only person on Splash Mountain, and they're just like, "Hi." One dude.
This isn't as cool.
Do what?
This isn't as cool when I'm by myself.
Yeah. Hey, look at my channel. I'm at Disneyland by myself. Yay!
I paid $63,000 for this 5-year pass. I might as well go.
Oh yeah, the passes and everything else. Yeah, this is gonna make me sound old too, but I remember Disneyland was $20 to get in. That was
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was back when the racist cartoons were cool, though.
Not quite that old, no, but yeah, that was another one that I found. I was scouring the internet. What the hell is that?
Are you patrolling a park?
Yep.
I thought you weren't allowed within a certain footage of parks and schools. Are you off?
Not
the
because you're a
Nintendo
sexual
yet?
predator, but because you scare the children.
They had the censored 8 or the censored 11 or something like that. It's like 11 cartoons that were so overboard racist that they like pulled them from rotation. Like you can't find them anywhere.
I need to find that.
Yeah, they had like the Donald Duck. Was it the World War II where he's like Zig Heiling everywhere and like just crazy stuff that was propaganda back then. No, you can't get away with anything like that today.
The Bugs Bunny one where he beats up that overly racist Japanese cartoon.
Oh yeah, I remember that one too. Yeah, and it's funny. I have Song of the South, and my niece watched it with me a couple weeks ago, and like I didn't see too much. Like I can understand how it would be, a blemish on Disney, but it wasn't overly racist.
Yeah, it's more like with Song of the South, it's just like, hey, slavery wasn't that bad. Look how happy these guys are.
Yeah, that's probably a lot to do with
that
it.
was the big Song of the South stink.
Yeah. It's like almost glamorizing slavery.
Yeah.
Like, look, they got their own camp. Isn't that awesome, kids? So, yeah, I could see that with stuff that you've seen more recently. It's, it doesn't seem terrible. But, yeah, I mean, and it's funny how, like, you watch something on Disney Plus or HBO and they got a disclaimer, like, before Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
Like, this is a product of its time and it may be offensive to some viewers. And okay.
Meanwhile, Django Unchained got a PG-13 rating.
Jesus.
You got anything else for this week?
Touch on the Static X thing that I've been bringing up ad nauseum.
Obviously, you want to talk about it. I don't know what it is.
Okay, so here's the scenario that I present to you guys. We're in a group, like the Freak Show, like Dark Asylum, whatever. One of you guys gets pissed and leaves. You got, so to speak, bad blood between us. Not literally, because he's doing his own thing. But you got...
No. He is between us because did you not watch the thing that they brought Zach on?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, they're doing that stupid gimmick.
They're trying to get Zach over there.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, no, freak shows where I'm putting my eggs right now.
Okay. Well.
Anyway,
so the Freak Show.
Darkness has been bugging us about this stupid Static X shit.
All right. So anyway,
we
haven't talked about any music, anyways. But all right. So one of you guys leaves the group, hates us, goes and does your own thing, and then you die, and then the rest of us that was in the group with you decide to carry on the Freak Show name, get somebody to dress up like you and perform as a facsimile of you, and then we find a bunch of old footage of you and start splicing you into our promos. How does that make you feel?
If Big V ever does die, I could just bring in a life-size Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and have him drag me around, put face paint on him.
Yeah. But yeah, it's weird because like I loved Static X back in the day.
No, same here. I love Static, but the shit they're doing now, I can't.
Yeah, I mean, I can because they brought in, I forget his name, the lead singer of Dope. His last name's Dope, but they bring him in to replace Wayne Static, who's been dead since 2014. Okay, maybe I can see that. You bring in a new singer. But then they uncovered all these demos, and they just released an album with Wayne Static's vocals on it. So, but they supposedly have the blessing of Wayne Static's family and, all that stuff. Put that into a wrestling scenario. How well do you think it's going to go over?
Well, put it in any scenario. Like, it's not right. It's not Static X. It's just like Queen and all the lead singers they bring in. They're not Queen anymore. Get rid of the fucking name. You're done.
I had that
Van Halen.
I had that same issue with the Drowning Pool.
Yeah,
I remember that too. Yeah, they brought in that new singer.
They brought in the new, like the original singer died. Okay, they brought in the new singer. I don't know what the fuck happened to them. And then the third album, they brought in a new singer, and it was garbage.
And it was weird because like months ago, they're like a band you may enjoy is touring. And I look at my email and it says Static X. I was like, what the hell? And yeah, that's when I started getting involved in all this. Bringing some other dude to replace him, but then they dress him up like Wayne Static, and the voice is similar and everything like that. So it's just really weird, you know? They have Journey, right? So Joe Perry or Steve Perry, he leaves, but then they get another dude that just sounds like him, but they don't try to like parade it around as Steve Perry's in Journey still. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just really weird. So, I mean, the theme kind of fits the band and everything like that, but it's just odd to me, you know?
Well, the thing is, Static X is nothing without Wayne Static.
Oh, yeah.
So, that's what
was the band.
I mean, they have to do something to stay on, but like, what's that tell them? If they have to fucking pretend somebody else is Wayne Static, they're not that good without Wayne Static.
And it was weird because I was thinking about that. I'm like, what if you did that in wrestling scenarios? Or what if you did that in, I mean, they've done it for movies, but like a band touring as, they dress the guy up in a costume that make him look like Wayne Static. But it's actually sitting there like, I don't know who these people are.
Yeah, this is the music corner. I'm on my phone right now.
I'm
Pornhub.
Scandinavian porn.
Oh man. Well, don't you remember when they just stacked up that pile of used chicken skins and had it be Ric Flair for like a week in the Four Horsemen? And nobody told the difference.
I do not recall this time in wrestling. That must have been at the later days of WCW.
Back when he was always bleeding and calling Eric Bischoff a motherfucker on live TV.
The good old days.
Yeah.
Back when you could show exposed vag and nobody whined about it.
I do not recall these days of WCW. When was this?
No, this one was WWF, the early years when Terry Reynolds exposed her vag on live TV.
Yeah.
No, the good old days, man. The infamous Booker T promo.
I remember that one still. That one's funny. And it's funny because right after he says it, like Sister Sherry just like consoles him. She knows what he does, like, oh.
She turns her head. He puts his head down.
We all heard it. We all know you said it.
Mean Gene's like, well.
Crazy days in WCW. Viagra on a pole.
But back in the days, man, wrestling was crazy. It's funny. My kid's middle brother, he asked me, he's like, did they really have a custody on the pole match? And I'm like, yeah.
I remember that.
Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio, man. They're like, did they really wrestle for custody of a kid? I'm like, yep.
And look what that kid's become now.
The worst working punch I've ever seen.
He is now his daddy's seeing eye dog.
Because he has both eyes.
Yeah, so that was like the one thing I wanted to bring up because like it covered music and we try to cover the spectrum of things. I wish COVID wouldn't have shown up because we were supposed to all go see Guar.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to see Guar without Odorous there, though.
My first Portland concert was Guar, and it was with Blothar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I mean, it sounds good. It was a good show, but yeah, it's funny. I get all these notifications that bands are touring, and so I go and I look them up, and they're like doing online shows. What is this?
I've been seeing these online shows, and then what's his name? Bert something. The comedian's doing drive-in comedy shows.
The one without a shirt?
Yeah.
God, I fucking hate him. He's so not funny.
No, like, so there was a clip I watched the other day. He's talking about how his dad just got into edibles, and they went over to his mom and dad's house one day, him and the kids and the wife, and The mom's like, "Oh, honey, your dad speaks to an owl," and he's like, "Huh?" He's like, "Yeah, honey, speak to the owl." And the dad's on the back porch going, "Whoo, whoo, whoo," and nothing happens. And they're like, "Dude, crazy old man." And all of a sudden, they're sitting there, and the dad's like, "The owl must not want to talk." And all of a sudden, a little bit later, they start hearing this, "Whoo," and the dad gets up, and he's like, "Whoo," and they're going back and forth, and Bert's like, "Oh my God, he's fucking talking to an owl." And the kid's like, "Hey, Daddy, I want to talk to you." I was like, "No, bitch, it's my turn next." And they're like, "Hoo, hoo." And all of a sudden the kid's like, "Hey, Dad, look across the river." And he's like, "What?" He looks across, and there's another old man across the river on his porch, just doing the same thing. He's like, it was like Ric Flair fucking going on a fucking woo attack. He's like, "Woo." It was funny.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah.
You know what? Fuck off.
Darkness, I don't want you to cut that out. I want you to edit all. I want you to leave all of that in. Just because I want everybody to feel the same amount of just cringe pain I just did as we retold a Bert Kirshner joke.
Oh,
I'm deeply ashamed of us, and it's only taken us one episode.
Yeah. If there was ever a point where it jumped the shark, there it is. So
take it home.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I mean, you got anything else going on? Anything?
Nah, I'll talk about more stuff next week. I don't want to blow my load in the first episode.
Yeah. But
right.
Before we go, we're gonna do like a comic book club. What is it? Book club? But comic
book club.
So what we're gonna do, if you go to the website, I'm gonna put up a link for. We're gonna read Deceased, DC East, and I'll put a link up there. If you guys listening want to buy it, read it, and then understand what we're talking about next week. Is that enough time for you, Zach, to read it next week?
Yeah, that's more than enough time.
Okay. So then we'll talk about Deceased next week, and we'll come up with something else to read for the following week. And keep up with some kind of storyline.
And a request that I'm making is for you two to go check out Carnival.
You know what? I will watch the first episode at least. And see how that goes.
Oh, before we go, we've been putting out questions from the people listening for our first episode.
Yes.
And of course, I didn't get to it. But okay. I think, as far as I know, we only had one.
We had one. And this comes from Sign Guy, who is also a podcaster, a referee, and a friend of the show, I guess. We're our first friend because he was the first person to follow us on.
And no, I don't remember what his show's called.
He wanted to know what our take on the Ultimate Warrior comic book from '96 was. What we thought of it.
So I actually read it recently. Did you guys ever within the past couple months?
I actually looked at it today because I do have it. So I looked at the first couple of issues.
I went out there and frantically bought it when I was younger because the Ultimate Warrior was one of my favorite wrestlers as a child. As I got older, I realized what the fuck was I thinking. But as a child, the Ultimate Warrior was like that fucking
he was a superhero.
Man.
Yeah.
And I frantically went out and bought this comic book, and for what it was okay.
I couldn't even imagine reading it as a child because at 32 years old, I had no idea what the fuck was going on in that comic book.
Yeah,
right. It reads like one of his promos.
That's exact. I pulled it up and I started looking through it, and I'm just, what is this? What is going on? Like he's talking about, the higher plane and flying with eagles, and it's just like watching one of his promos.
In the higher plane, Hulk Hogan, I am flying with eagles.
Yeah. He's running around in like a purple Speedo and purple booties. And I'm just like, what is going on?
So,
his first villain, if you remember, the first villain that he fought was a copy of himself.
Yes. It was like a Nega Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, it was like Bizarro Warrior or something. I was with a bear or something. I don't remember what the animal he had with him.
I think it was a bear.
Was it a bear?
So there's that one.
The only adversary worthy of him was himself.
So the best part was that there's that one, but there's a second one that was no dialogue at all, where he kidnaps and brutally sexually assaults Santa Claus.
You mentioned this. I don't even know what you're talking about with this one.
I'm gonna send you the photo because there's one where like Santa Claus is like he kills the shit out of the reindeer and he's like eating them or whatever. And then the next page is the warrior, like Santa's tied up like in bondage gear, topless, and there's the warrior smiling, implying that he's naked because there's a shadow covering his lower half. And then I swear to you, and I will send you the panel, there's a 2-page spread of Santa Claus on the ground with milky substance on his chest. Might be semen, I don't know. And the Ultimate Warrior putting it on Santa's pants, looking deeply ashamed of himself.
Jesus. Do you remember this from somewhere? Do you have it? What is the deal with this?
So I do remember it because I was like V. I was like, oh, cool, Ultimate Warrior comic book. Oh, what's he doing to Santa Claus? And then I thought it was just a fever dream. So like a couple of years ago, I just randomly like got that idea in my head. I'm like, comic. I typed into Google comic where Ultimate Warrior rapes Santa Claus, and there was that two-page spread.
Oh my god. All right. So if I find it, I will post it to the website so everyone else can see what the hell you're talking about.
It wasn't a mushroom high, I promise.
All right.
Well, at the same time, and I don't remember how far it went, but they did the Undertaker comic book.
Oh yeah, I remember those. He had a couple of them.
Yeah.
I remember the Undertaker ones.
I never read that one.
Yeah, those were better than the Warrior ones.
Oh yeah.
So
it was Taker, Mankind, Kane, all there.
Yeah, but so there you go, Sign Guy. That was our impression of the Warrior comic from '96. Any of you guys have any questions or comments or anything like that? If you go to the website, you can type it into us, and if you go to Anchor, you can leave us a voice message that we could try and figure out how to play on the air. Because this is still all new to me, but you know,
we're slowly figuring this out.
Give us something to talk about, or let us ridicule you when you give us a voicemail or something, and you know.
Let's do that. Yeah, let's make fun of the few listeners we're gonna have.
Yeah, all 3 of them, not including my mom. So
all right. So I'd say with that, follow me on Twitter at Wonderful Zach Winters. Go to the Dark Asylum website, Wrestling Tees store. Buy my shirt. Buy the Freak Show T-shirts that are on there. Give us your money, please.
Please buy our products.
Please buy all our products. Buy my book.
Yeah.
And come back and listen to us, right?
Yeah, next year it'll be the same, or next week it'll be the same craziness.
Yeah, we'll hopefully come up with a couple more things to talk about.
All right. Yeah.
But,
hopefully you enjoyed it.
All right, guys. This is Darkness.
Wonderful Zach Winters.
This is.
Say
did
one
he
more
forget
time?
his name? Did he cut out or did he forget his name?
Oh, good. It's a perfect time. So, all right. This is Darkness. You got Zach.
I'm Zach Winters.
And Big V, who is not responding now, which is a perfect time because we're closing the asylum.
All right.